What is going on, guys? MMA Island team. We got the fight picks. We got a good one here. Polyana Viana taking on Emily Whitmire. Uh, strawweight division. Two strawweights going at it, and two strawweights who actually are on a losing streak. So, talking about Polyana Viana, first off, looking at her losing streak, losing to J.J. Aldrich, Hannah Cyphers, and Veronica Macedo. Man, those three, Hannah Cyphers and JJ Eldridge, we've seen lose in recent history. Hannah Cyphers obviously being on the card as well. So kind of weird to see a girl who's 10-4, obviously was at one time 10-1, and then went on the 3-fight losing streak. So on a 3-fight losing streak, taking on Emily Whitmire. Emily Whitmire currently 4-3. Only ever had one submission win, and it actually is in the UFC against Alexandra Albu. Interesting matchup. I think for me personally, I have to go towards Viana on this one. So reason for that being, looking at Whitmire and what we've seen from her early on in her career and kind of recently as well, I guess you could say, albeit it's against Amanda Hebus, who is a beast, as we know. Talking about Amanda Hebus fights, looking at Polyana Viana actually knocked out Amanda Hebus
years ago,
as you mentioned. But hey, MMA math. Some of you folks go by MMA math. You got your winner right here. Me personally, I don't go by MMA math, but I do go by submission skills. And when you look at that, comparing these two ladies submission skill wise, you got 6 submissions and all finishes. Never not finished her opponent with Polyana Viana. I think this is a perfect fight for her to bounce back, albeit she's lost against kind of not the greatest of talent in recent history. But I don't know, man. I just think looking at Whitmire's only lost by submissions in her entire career. So I just think this is a good matchup for Polyana Viana here. I think this is a great time for her to bounce back, especially being on a 3-fight skid. Man, I don't know. Looking at this strawweight matchup, I really just think that it comes down to bringing the fight to the ground. Who do you value there? And I think Polyana Viana is the one to go. Looking at striking, I would honestly even take Polyana Viana in this one. Even looking at like striking stats in the UFC throughout here. Sure, takedown defense is going towards Emily Whitmire, but the striking accuracy is 41% for Polyana Viana, 31% for Emily Whitmire. Both obviously under 50%, not ideal, but taking the fighter that not only is apparently, according to UFC stats, the more accurate striker, and going up against a person who's only ever lost by submissions, it's kind of a lose-lose battle, at least stats would say, for Whitmire in this one. So I'm going to have to go with Polyana Viana in this one. Just really think that it's her fight to win here. Really easily, probably the toughest opponent that Whitmire has fought outside of Amanda Hebus, obviously. Actually, never mind. It's just got Jillian Robertson. Jillian Robertson is a beast, as we know. Most submissions in UFC history for women's divisions, I'm pretty sure. And then Roxanne Modafferi. So just scratch that whole point. Point is that Polyana Viana just has that submission skill set that I don't think Emily Whitmire is going to be able to beat.
So you mentioned that you didn't think there'd be a disagreement. There is a disagreement. I am picking Emily Whitmire in this fight, and this is if a lot of people may not know, or many people do know, that this fight was supposed to be at UFC 248. This fight was supposed to be on that card, but Emily Whitmire got very, very sick and could not fight. She missed weight because of sickness, and she had to go to the hospital. So this fight is finally getting rebooked from March. So there's a little bit of unresolved business in here. And back then I picked Whitmire, and I still will now. And there is one thing that leads me to pick this. Polyana Viana is way too content of being off her back. She accepts bottom position and will just stay there. She is so unactive off of her back. If she gets taken down, she's like a person in quicksand. Very, very sluggish. And her jiu-jitsu is, it's all right. It's decent. She's not a black belt. And and for someone who is mainly a submission specialist, you kind of want to be a black belt if you want to have your one skill be elite. And I think if you look at these skills and what both of these ladies bring to the table, I value Emily Whitmire's wrestling over the jiu-jitsu of Polyana Viana. Because I think that Emily Whitmire, she will take this to the ground, and Polyana Viana will be like, okay, sure, go ahead. because she accepts bottom position. She will let Emily Whitmire take her down. And not much is going to happen there because we have seen her just be so content. I mean, just to lay there. And against someone with the top pressure of Emily Whitmire, that's not something you want to do. And okay, on the feet, I do know that Vienna has a decent reach advantage, but all of Emily Whitmire's game plan requires you getting in close, like for the takedowns, for the solid shots. And we've seen that Polyana Viana is also very, very hesitant when you're fighting her up close. She likes to fight her own fight at range or off of her back. Those are the only two places that she succeeds. If it's up close, it's not where you want to be. So I think that Emily Whitmire is going to grind her out to a decision here. I don't think there's going to be a finish. If there is a finish, it's going to be Viana submitting Whitmire, but I just don't think that that's going to be the case. So yeah, I'm picking Emily Whitmire.
I'll up the stakes here, and I'll say that Polyana Viana gets a armbar. Because you say she likes to rely on the wrestling. If she gets her to the ground, hey, man, I'm looking for that leg to get over the face and just to torque the hips. I'm looking forward to it, man. I hope you guys are too as well.
WMMA and armbars, iconic duo.
Make sure you guys just let us know in the comments what you guys think for this fight. We got a disagreement here. You guys know what that means. You guys got to break the tie. So as I mentioned, make sure you guys are showing your support, liking the video. Make sure you guys also check out the other Fight Pick videos.